Hey, what's up? Welcome to the Really Bro Podcast, episode 46. I'm your host, Big Ken TB. Today we got a special guest. I got Leela in the house. How you doing, Leela?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You know, it's good to have a lady's perspective. You know what I'm saying? You know, I always do the podcast and it's always, you know, everybody talking about why you always, you know, you can only give a man's perspective. You can, you know, and it's always nice to get a perspective from, you know, a lovely young lady. You know what I'm saying? So, we're just gonna jump into it. I got a couple of questions. These are questions that you wanted to know about and that you wanted to answer.
Absolutely.
Right. So, so we're just gonna get into it. So, marriage is down 25% from 20 years ago. From your perspective, why is that so?
Yes, why is that so?
Yeah. Why do you think marriage is down 25% in the past 20 years?
Well, I've been single for the last decade.
Okay.
So I was kind of trying to get the male perspective of that question because I'm new to dating. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot different than before. I mean, I really don't have much to compare it to because so much time has passed. Mm-hmm. So it was like I'm just learning this as I go along. And every person I meet is just a character. Like you wouldn't believe.
Okay. My opinion is that. Go ahead.
It's just no one is just consistent. No one seems to want to be committed. It seems like situationships are the new commitment. You know what I mean? We're not committed, but I'm obligated to this person and I'm obligated to that person, even though I'm single.
Without the marriage tag on it, without the ring, without the paperwork. I get that. I think social media has a lot to do with that. And I know it is, you can't blame everything on social media. But when people see certain things and certain lifestyles and they hear, you know, how women, you know, well, I can do everything myself. I don't need a man to do this. I don't need a man to do that. Or a man has to make such and such a year, or a man has to do such and such for me. That kind of turns a man off from marriage. That kind of turns a man off from relationship. And I'm not going to put it all on one side because I'm sure, you know, there's some things that women can point out that turn themselves off from men. And I'm sure there's probably some things that men do. But marriage isn't the institution that it was 20 years ago. Think about it. What does a man actually get out of marrying a woman? If the shit don't work out, he got to give up 50% of his shit. He got to give up his retirement. He got to give up his check. He got to give up his child support. What am I getting putting all that at risk? You tell me, what if let's say two people were to get married, what is the man getting out of it other than some pussy? No, tell him. No, I'm real talk. Other than some used cat and somebody else's kids, what am I getting out of it?
Love, compassion, stability. You feel safe with that person. I mean, you get a lot of things that you can't buy in the store. You get a certain type of feeling, a certain type of comfort when you're with your person. It doesn't, you know, marriage doesn't have to be transactional. What I give to you, you give to me back. I don't know. It's not a money thing. It's a love thing, I thought.
Love is for suckers. And I'm just going to put it out there. Love is for suckers. You know, baby, back in... You know, my Mother's Day, my grandmother's day, you know, love was, you know, was the be all. They don't love no more. I mean, you can think
that everyone is so dry on love. No one knows how to love these days. You know what I mean? If you put some love in front of me, I might absorb it like a sponge. But love is not for suckers. Love is for people who believe in it.
Love is for suckers, okay? People that fall in love end up getting broken up, getting hurt, and all this, and that believe in that shit. You know, if you have a certain mind frame and say, hey, I'm getting into this relationship because of this, and that, and the third. This is why I'm getting into it. If you have a can't even talk right. If you have a clear, steady plan on what you're trying to get out of a certain situation, then that works better than talking about, oh, I'm doing this because I love this person.
That's right. Because I love you. I got you.
Love ain't getting you nowhere. What you mean you got me? What you still haven't answered the question on why am I putting my financials, my mental health, everything on the line? Because you got me? I'm putting all that on the line for some you got me. You got me what?
Yeah. I got you in life. Whatever you go through sickness and health, for better or worse, till death do us part. Like, the vows that people take. What do you mean? Isn't that enough?
I just find that hard to believe, though. Like, no, actually, if it was real, it would be enough. But it's never real. You know, people never finish their end of the bargain when it comes to that. You know what I'm saying? They always end up leaving or cheating or this and that, and the third. You know, if there was 100% loyalty and the woman was loyal to stay and really had your back and really took care of business, that's one thing. And actually, that's a real thing, because there are marriages that do work, right? There are marriages that are working because they have this. That's true. All I'm saying is very few and far between to actually get two people like this on the same page.
But you seem like every other male that I've run across, you seem like you're blocked. I mean, did you hear your statement, love is for suckers?
Mm-hmm.
So love is for suckers. It seems like you, along with a couple of other people that I know, would not even know love if it knocked at your door. Because you don't believe in it. So is that why marriages are down? Because men just simply don't believe in love anymore? Obviously, women do.
Men do believe in love. What happened was, their idea of what love should be was probably shattered by someone, right? Everybody has their different idea on what love to them looks like. Love looks different to each and every person. And it's all about what you expect and what you want to get out of it and what you want to put into it. You can't take away without putting in. And if you put in, you're allowed to take out. So I think when it comes to men's perspective on love, we do know what love is. We do know what love looks like according to how we feel and how we want it to look. And I think women are the same way. They have a certain ideology of what love works for, what works for them and what love looks like to them also. So you can't just put it on one of the males. Females have that same perspective also. Don't you agree?
I agree, but it's the men that have to do the proposing. I mean, I'm old school. I know some women do it these days, but I feel like a man will tell you what he wants. You don't have to be with someone for 10 years to know, like, okay, we've been together 10 years. He's not going to get me a ring. I don't think it takes 10 years to know.
Oh, no, it definitely, no, I agree with that. It definitely does not take 10 years for you to decide whether you want to spend the rest of your life. Not 10 years. I would say not more than 5. 5 is always the sweet spot for me, because 1 year is too short, right? 2 years, 2 years, 2 to 3. When you in that 2 to 3, yeah, you do know the person, but it seems like there's some room for error. You know, it seems like, okay, I do know the person, I just don't know all of the person quite yet in 2 years. I think 5 years is that sweet spot where basically, you know, you're gonna find out whether they crazy, they bat. You know, they bat shit crazy or not, you know, or whatever, you know, and you might like that shit, you know, you find out that she's bat shit crazy and that's what turns you on. So, hey, you found your partner. So, you know, I'm not saying that in a bad way. All I'm saying is 5 years is enough time for you to figure out who and what this person is. You know what I'm saying? In 5 years, you shouldn't go longer than 5 years. I say at least 5. At least 5. No longer than 5.
I think that's a long time.
Huh?
I think that's a long time. 5 years. I mean,
you said 5 years is too long? 5 years is too long?
Yeah.
Nah.
You should have at least 2, because you've been able to see this person in more than one season. You know how they operate.
And you know where the people are? You know where the people are that got married after 2 years? You know where they at? Divorce court. That's where they're at. They're in divorce court. 2 years is not enough time for me, I don't think, for me to decide that I want to spend the rest of my life with this person. You know, I don't know. That's just my opinion. Everybody's different, though. You know. And to be honest with you,
no, go ahead. I know. After 2 years for me, I kind of get. I'm either able to be with you longer, or after 2 years, I don't want to be with you anymore.
So I was about to say something similar. I think when you have the right person, when you meet the right person, and I know this kind of contradicts what I just said, but in rare instances, I'm just saying in rare instances, you meet somebody, and not everybody does. You might meet somebody that tells you everything you need to know. It's just right. It's just it checks all the boxes within 2 years, right? That doesn't mean that everybody goes through that. Some people need longer, but there are situations where a person, a male or female, checks all the boxes under in the first year. You know, you hear people getting married after 6 months all the time, right? So yeah. So there are situations where a person, and I haven't experienced that yet, but some people are lucky enough to have that person that just checks every fucking thing in a year. You know what I'm saying? So if it's one of those situations, yeah, then go for it. You know what I'm saying? Life is too short. You know, I just don't want to rush into something and then have to deal with all the paperwork, the legalities, and all that shit if the shit don't work out. You know, especially at my age. Now, in my 20s and shit, that's why people get married 3-4 times then, because they got the energy to do that. I don't have the energy right now. I don't have the energy right now. Now, in my 20s, when you was young, yeah, you could go through 3 or 4 marriages. You know, 20s, 30s, 40s. You know, you got the energy for that. Right now, I don't have the energy for that no more. So, my decision making, is a lot more, I need a lot more time to figure out what my next move is as far as relationships and being in love and all of that. So, yeah, it's, everybody's different. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
So what do people lack that makes them non-committal? What is it that makes them not want to commit in a relationship? And
yeah, is it physical?
I don't think so. I mean, yeah, you know what? Well, physical is partially what got you together, right? It got you together, right? So,
well, being that you're a little bit older, because you keep talking about your age.
Who are you talking about older? What are you talking about?
You said that you're older and you don't have time.
Yeah, that was the last conversation. What it has to do with this conversation?
So being that you're older, does physical matter when you're like trying to pick someone for?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I should say.
I see what you're saying. Yes, does the physical? Yeah, it still matters. Absolutely, I still got to be able to get rock hard. I still got to be able to get turned on. You know, you can't, no. You can't get into this thing of where I've seen it where people say, oh, well, I'm older now. Start settling is what I'm saying. Like people start settling. Well, I'm not really attracted to this person, but hey, I am getting older and I don't want to die alone. And so I'll just take whatever. No, you never settle no matter how old you get, or I mean, age ain't nothing but a number, and you take care of yourself or whatever. And if you don't take care of yourself, you still have to have a level of what's that word I'm looking for? You still have to have standards for yourself. Now, don't get me wrong. Do my standards lower a little bit as I get older? Yes, they do. I think they all do. For myself too. It's not just about, it's not just about what the other person looks like. I go to the gym. I try to keep myself, I don't want to let myself go. You know what I'm saying? I can't sit up here and be like, yeah, you got to look a certain way. I don't care how old you get. You got to look a certain way because it's some bad 40, 50, 60-year-olds in the gym. They're in the gym and they keeping it together. So I know it's possible. You understand? So what I'm saying is that I can't expect for a lady I'm talking to stay in shape and keep me motivated, and I look like a sack of potatoes, you know what I'm saying, and I'm not taking care of myself. So how the hell can I ask that from somebody else? So yes, I get my black ass in the gym. I work out 3 to 4 days a week. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be Mr. Muscle Man, but it's just say, hey, if I want a woman to look a certain way, I also got to fit the bill. I also got to look a certain way. You understand what I'm saying? So
yeah, you got to be equal to what you're asking for.
Exactly. Well, you ain't got to be equal, but you got to be around the same ballpark. You know what I'm saying? You got to be around the same. Right. You got to be in the same city at least. You know what I'm saying? You can't be 5 states away. You got to be at least in the same city. So yes, looks does matter, but do they matter as much as they did when I was younger? No, they do not. They do not matter as much when I was in my 20s, because looks was everything back then, right? Hey, but no, because I understand we get older, we look different, we change, so no, it's not as important, but it still is important. Okay, because so what do you think that people lack that makes them non-committal?
Finances. Finances. That's all I can say.
So you think being broke makes somebody not want to commit to somebody?
Absolutely.
Broke people get married all the time.
I'm still single, so I wouldn't marry someone who was broke.
You ain't broke. Stop it. You ain't broke. So.
No, I'm not broke. I said I'm still single, and I wouldn't marry someone who was broke.
Oh, so you talking about you talking? So basically, what you saying is finances for the other person. Like if they broke, that keeps you from taking things further.
Yeah,
their finances. They're not bringing enough to the table, is what you're saying.
Yeah, because I wouldn't want to be with someone who always needs help. Even if they don't ask you, you see a person struggling. If you care about the person, you're going to want to be there for them. But being there for them might put you in a financial situation, if you really don't got it like that. If you're trying to split whatever you have with somebody else, especially if there's no marriage involved.
But let me ask you a question. Wasn't there ever a time when you needed some help? I know it was a time when I needed some help.
Did you get the help you needed?
That's a tough question. Did I get the help I needed? Wow, did
you get the help that you either asked for or didn't ask for?
You know what? Sometimes it wasn't. Sometimes at the end of the day, I just realized that I had to do the shit myself and figure it out myself. But yeah, sometimes I did, sometimes I didn't. Yeah, sometimes I did, sometimes I didn't. But the point is that I've been in situations where I hey, I needed some help. So I don't think that for me that is a make or break. And guess what? And that's another thing too. The men and women perspective is totally different when it comes to that subject. We don't care what you make. You know, you could be bad. Listen. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Men just want to clap some, right? They want to clap some or get into a relationship or whatever. A man will date a woman from Burger King. If you go into Burger King and go get him a Whopper with cheese and it's a bad motherfucker at the register and she cute and she look good, he gonna try to talk to her. But let that be the other way around. Let a woman come in there and it's a dude at the Burger King register. Does he get the same energy? No, he doesn't. You know, understand? He doesn't. Because as men, we're not looking for necessarily help or, your finances. You know what I'm saying? But for a woman, a man needs to have this and needs to be able to do that. And do you see the economy? Not everybody has it like that. But that's not a reason for them not to engage in relationships, though.
I do. I think that if you lack finances to do certain things that are required in relationships, then I don't think you should be trying to get with someone.
So if you broke,
you should work a full-time job, a part-time job, get your money up, and then try to date.
So if you broke, you can't get no pussy, right? No pussy for the broke dude. Is that what you saying?
Hey,
is that what you saying?
Yeah. It's not attractive.
The broke dude can't get no pussy. All right.
It's not attractive.
All right.
Slinging some poverty dick around here. Don't nobody want that. Don't nobody want that.
Poverty pussy. Don't want no poverty pussy either.
Whatever. Women come to the table.
Nobody want no poverty pussy either. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not every female has food stamps.
EBT.
They come to the table, they come to the table with something more than that.
Shit, that broke shit be what's up though. That broke coochie be popping sometime though.
Shut up. What are you talking about?
Yeah. I done fell for some broke. I done fell for some broke coochie. Hey, I done fell for some broke coochie a couple times. Shit. Ain't gonna lie, I keep it real.
How does that happen?
How does that happen? You know what? The right place at the wrong time.
Burger King, right? Yeah.
No. Not yes, Burger King too, but also just she caught a nigga in a drought. You know what I'm saying? She, it's a little dry. It was a little dry out there, and she just caught the nigga at the right time. You know what I'm saying? She caught the nigga at the right time. I ain't got nobody at the moment, so it's just like fuck it, why not? You know what I'm saying? So you start clapping them poverty cheeks because
so just because you had nothing else to do.
You ain't got really nothing else to do. You ain't really got nothing else. You ain't got no motion right now. You ain't got no motion. Your motion gone. You ain't got no motion right now. So
So when you get motion and you find something to do, are you still clapping the cheeks?
I mean, it depends on how good. Hey, maybe if she handle her business, I won't have to look around. I done got stuck in some poverty cheeks before for a couple years. I done got stuck.
You got stuck.
Yeah, them poverty cheeks ain't no joke. Shit. You can feel the struggle in every stroke. You can feel the struggle in every stroke.
Wow. Wow.
You can feel the struggle in every stroke.
Wow.
Woo. Man, I'm on fire.
Maybe that's why I'm single. I ain't got none of that going on.
Ain't got none of that going on.
Yeah, I've been single for a long time.
I wouldn't know, so I don't know. So,
yeah.
Why are men exhausted with life, love, and relationships? Man, this is like a subject, that's like can be talked about for days, because the relationships status in just in the 2020, ever since COVID, relationships been fucked up. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna. Relationship shit has been fucked up since COVID. And it has nothing to do with COVID itself. It just has to do with exposure. What I mean by exposure is exposure to Instagram and social media and what people say and what people see and people forming their opinions. It's kind of crazy. People will actually look to social media for just help solve their problems. Like you're gonna listen to what a some relationship guru, with 5,000 followers, and now you up here listening to their advice and making dumb decisions. And I think a lot of that, and if you multiply that times millions of people during COVID, millions of people, podcasters and relationship gurus and advisors and fake people with no degrees, and you see all this shit and you're consuming all of this, your outlook on relationships will tend to be fucked up. You have all of these not unexpected. You just have these exaggerated expectations of what you feel you deserve and and what you need to get based on what you hear other people do that's not even doing the same shit that they preach. So when you talk about why are men exhausted with life, love, and relationships, it's because they're physically drained and they're physically tired from having to deal with the women that are consuming this content and have all of these unrealistic expectations of what they want in a relationship. And so how much longer or, how much more can a man take when he's persistently blah, 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 badgered, blah, 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 this, blah, 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 that. You need to have this. I want to do this. You broke if you do this. You broke if you do that. Blah, 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 blah. Like consistent barrage of bullshit.
Have you often been made to feel like you're not enough?
Hell yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I've been in a situation where I felt like I wasn't enough. And I got out those relationships because nobody should make you feel that way. Yeah, because women like to gaslight motherfuckers. They like to gaslight you and make you feel like you're not doing enough. And men do the same thing. It goes both ways. But women do it also. And they'll gaslight you, flip the situation out, on you, And have I been in a situation? Of course, absolutely. I've been in a situation where, chicks try to gaslight me but the thing is I'm too smart for that. And and then they get upset when you call them out. When you call them out for that. When you call them out for that, and you don't, because see, when women's trying to gaslight, she's after. There's an agenda going on, right? She wants you to think a certain way, feel a certain way. Try to control. She wants to lead. She's trying to lead you to think and act a certain way to her benefit. You understand what I'm saying? She's trying to lead you to make you benefit her because you're not acting the way she wants you to act. So now she has to try to spin shit to make you act the way she wants you to act. And it's up to the man not to fall for that shit. You know what I'm saying? So, and that leads to arguments, and that leads to this and that, this and that. And if a woman is trying to gaslight you like that, I mean, that shit's basically over. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to get into a situation or stay in a situation where you make it seem like I'm not, enough or doing enough. And I had to keep it real. And I also have to keep it real. I was also in a situation where I now that I think about it, I probably made her feel like she wasn't enough. And then this is two separate situations. This isn't the same situation. But I mean, I think about it. I remember having some conversations with this, and I might have been an asshole. Man, we can be assholes. You know what I'm saying? And so, I probably was guilty of, making her feel maybe, that she wasn't good enough and this and that, which wasn't true. It wasn't true. But I think that, certain times, certain situations, certain feelings, certain things lead to certain things, to lead to certain conversations, lead you to say certain things. You know what I'm saying? So, have I done that? Yes. And has that been done to me? Yes. So what about you?
Absolutely. Like I said, this is the past. I have been single for a very long time. Mm-hmm. It's just that with the new guys that I'm dating, I just see that they're exhausted from the past. Somebody did something to them. They don't want to give, anyone else this certain kind of treatment. Mm-hmm. They don't want to, be a fool. Mm-hmm. And they don't want to give anything if it has to do anything emotional.
Tired, exhausted. They're done.
Yeah.
They're mentally done.
Yeah.
But don't you think women are the same way? Women act the same way.
I think that some women are the same way, but I think that when you have someone good in front of your face. So they might be exhausted until the right one comes along. 99.9% of your relationships are going to fail, and only one is going to work, and that's the person that you end up with. So everything that we go through while we're dating and involved with people, it all is supposed to lead you until that one person that you be with. So
that's true. Okay.
All the bullshit is needed, I guess. So,
okay.
Yeah, I mean, I've been if I, dig deep into my past, yes, I've dated someone who I've done everything for. Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, it wasn't good enough for them. So when I had to leave the person and I walked away, I made sure I didn't go back. He did beg, like literally beg. Like tears, but I couldn't take him back.
You had the nigga crying, huh? The nigga was crying, huh?
He really was.
That's
really
fucked
was
up.
For a very long time. For a long time.
All right.
But, when someone doesn't treat you right and you just kind of have an idea, like, I'm just not the one for him. I'm not what you need. When you go off and you be with the next person, that person will see everything that you're trying to show me, and it'll be for them. Like, it can never be for me because I'm never going to take you back.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's one thing. Never go back. Now, have I did that? Yes. You know what? Life is all about learning and not repeating your mistakes. And so, ever since then, I'm like, nah, nigga, never, ever go back. It's never going to be the same. It's never going to get right. Once it's gone, never go back. Keep it pushing because it will never, ever be the same.
Okay. Do men ever heal from heartbreak?
Do men ever heal from heartbreak? That's a very good question. I can only go from like my perspective. I can't really answer for everybody else because everybody else is different. Every man is different. Wow, that's tough because it's several layers to that. But if I'm going to give the simple short answer, yeah, we all heal from everything. I think that some things take longer than others, and just because some things might have happened 20 years ago and it's still with you. Doesn't mean that you're not going to heal from it. It's just that it just takes a long time. So yeah, is it a possibility that some things stay with you for a very, very, very long time and it's hard to heal from? Absolutely. And some things you can just heal from and get over right away. So it all just depends on the situation and what was put into that situation. You know, how much of you was put into. Because I know I've been in relationships where I didn't put none of myself into. And then there was relationships where I put 100%, 1,000% of myself into. So it's all about the situation and how much you put into that. You know, what's that term? How much you poured into it. You know what I'm saying? Which kind of determines on how bad it hurts when it ends. So yeah, you know, you will eventually heal from everything. Everything heals. Just like it breaks. You can't break something without it healing. You can't heal something without it being broken. So yes, you will heal. It just depends on the length of the healing.
What I found with dating is it seems that no one is letting go of heartbreak. They all have that one person who did something, and now they just kind of put women into a category, and there's no getting out of it. You know what I mean? Like, even though I'm walking into their life fresh-faced, I'm new. You've never, we've never, done anything. Never. I'm still in the category just because of what someone else did.
I think healing.
Talked about with every single individual person. That's why I said you may heal, because it doesn't seem like it. Not even a little bit.
I think those are two different things, though. What you're describing is fool me once, but you won't fool me twice. I don't really think that has to necessarily do with the healing of what caused it. He could absolutely have healed from what caused his feelings to be that way. But then he can also say, hey, I'm healed from that, but I won't put myself in that position again. So that comes to that person, the new person, the new person, he's like, oh, no. I did this with the last person and the last person hurt me. So I'm not going to do this with you. Basically, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Or I'm not going to show my feelings. I'm not going to show my feelings. I don't think it has to do with healing. I mean, it's a thin line. You could say that. I just looked at healing as something different. I look at healing as a specific situation. You know what I'm saying? Somebody cheated on me. Okay, well, I deal with that heartbreak and I'm going to heal from that situation. The new person has nothing to do with that situation, or the person before that person has nothing to do with that situation. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm relating the healing to that specific person in that specific situation, not what I do in the future, But I do understand what you're saying. You're saying, hey, when are you going to let that go? That person did this to you, but that doesn't mean I'm going to do it to you. And exactly. And that goes with male and females. I think we both experienced that. I've experienced that where, I say, hey, well, I'm not going to do this with this person again. Fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Because I did it with that person and the shit didn't end up right. The shit was foul. And so you like that. I'm never doing that. I'm never giving another person that chance again. Yeah, I get it. There's really nothing you can really do about that. Really too much. It has to be, it just has to be something that opens up naturally. You're just going to have to trust me. You know what I'm saying? You're just going to have to trust me that I'm not going to do the same thing, In answer to your question, the dudes that's acting like that towards you, that can't seem to get past what they did. I mean, what the other person did to them in relation to you. You gotta let them go. Like I'm not gonna fuck around with somebody who's still who's still hanging with baggage. I'm not gonna do it. And I understand it's frustrating. I'm not gonna do it. I don't have time at this time and age, this stage in my life. I have no time for foolishness. I have no time for garbage. I have no time. I don't have time. I don't even entertain any of that. I'm 52 years old, right? I'm 52.
Huh. How old are you?
52. I'm 52 years old.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. And I'm 52 years old, and I just do not have time. I mean, actually, 50s is like my best fucking decade. It was like 20s, 30s, 40s was trash, and then 50s is like, I can't really describe it. It's just, it's a peace thing. Like, you don't give a fuck about shit. You really don't care about anybody's opinions, which really just affects your life beautifully, in a beautiful way. Like, you just don't, like, at 50, you just stop giving a fuck. And I can't, no, and it sounds weird and funny, because I was just having this conversation with somebody else. And I was like, man, 50s, I'm like 50s is like, really, I can't describe it. It's really my best fucking era as far as me concerned, as far as me. Because I think at 50s, you basically, you basically accomplished all the shit that you were going to do, right? Well, or at least hopefully you did. You finished that school. You got that job. You know what I'm saying? You had those kids. You did all those things already, right? So now all that shit is done. There's no pressure. Okay. There's nothing. You're in a stable. Hopefully you did the shit right. You're in a stable. Your economy is stable. Your finances are stable. You ain't got to be rich. Nobody's rich. 90% of people are poor in America. So, but you're not on the street, is what I'm saying. You're not in a cardboard box. So when you're in your 50s, you basically did all that shit already. So now you get to enjoy. You get to enjoy those video games. I mean, I don't know what you do. That hobby. Maybe you into Legos. I don't know. Maybe you into wood building. I don't know. Whatever the fuck you into. Learn that instrument. You get to learn that. Hey, I want to learn Chinese now. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the fuck you want to do, you can do it, because you ain't got no kids to be worried about. I'm an empty nester. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
you're an empty nester.
Yeah, I'm an empty nester. I'm not gonna get into all that, but yeah, I'm an empty nester right now. So, so I'm an empty nester, and then so it's just me. So I don't, there are really no rules. The only rules I have to follow is make sure I get to work on time. Now, you got to get to work on time, right? You got to get paid. Okay. I respect that. I respect the hustle. So I respect the job very, very much, right? So, you got to get to the job. You got to get paid, whatnot, whatever it is that you do. And then, other than that, ain't really no other rules to follow, really. Ain't really no rules to follow, So yeah, 50s is my best era. 40s was, oh my God, my 40s was fucking terrible. I can't even describe how terrible the 40s were. 40s was horrible. 40s was, I mean, listen, everybody's different. I'm talking about for me though. I'm talking about for me. 40s was fucking terrible. I can't describe it. It's like everything that could go wrong went wrong in 40. You know what I'm saying? 20s is like you're young, you feel invincible, you're having fun. 30s is like, okay, now, I just finished school, I'm about to start my career, I'm meeting, I might be getting married, I'm about to have me some kids, I need to buy me a house, right? Yeah. And then 40s is what happens after all that shit goes left. After having kids go left, after buying a house goes left, after you starting that job goes left, after you didn't finish school goes left. When all that shit goes left is what happens in your 40s. So what happens, everything that goes right happens in your 30s, but then the end result is what happens in your 40s, and it's all fucked up. You know what I'm saying? It's all fucked up, right? And then in your 50s, you get back on track. So, I mean, that was just the best way I could describe it. Okay, but so what was we talking about? What was we talking about? Oh, why? So, why are men exhausted with life, love, and relationships? I mean, it's everything that we just talked about. It's everything as far as, being in situationships that didn't work out for us, and then get into a new relationship, and then dealing with that, or dealing with people that don't fit our needs. We just want somebody. We just want a warm body in the bed or whatever. Settling, when you settle for stuff, you don't get what you're not getting what you desire. It's okay. Listen, when you get in a relationship, it's okay to get what you want, to look for what you want. Not everybody's going to check the boxes, but it's okay to say, hey, I want this. I want this in a person. I want a person to look like this. I want a person to do that. I want a person that works out. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with saying, hey, I want a person that's physically fit, or I want a thick chick, or I want a skinny chick. There's nothing wrong with that. You can pick and choose. So
yeah, if you are the type of person who has options, not everyone has options. I have a question.
Make
that I wanted
options.
to ask
Make
you.
options. You got to make options. All right, go ahead. What's your question?
So earlier you were talking about baggage. So there is this one baggage here that I kind of do take from situation to situation that I'm trying to break myself of, but it's just there.
You have baggage, or the person has baggage?
I have baggage.
Okay, what's your baggage?
This one thing, like when I'm with a guy, and it's just us.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't want him to be on his phone. I feel like you could be on your phone 20 hours out the day. The little bit of time that you have with me, I don't want you to be just scrolling through social media. I want you to sit here, talk to me, engage. Don't have me feeling like you're bored with my time. I just want your time just directed towards me. So the problem that I have is maybe I'm a little scarred from, past relationships. But is that a bad thing just because I want the person's undivided attention?
No, it's not a bad thing at all. It's not. That's not even considered baggage. That's just preference.
All right, no, it's baggage because in my mind I instantly go back to the relationship part where guys were texting other girls in front of me, and I'm sitting there.
No, I know where you're going with this.
Like,
I know where you're going.
From that aspect, no, I don't want you on the phone, but at the same time, like I said, I just want your undivided attention. I don't want you making plans for the next hookup while I'm sitting there.
So basically, you're repeating the same behavior that we had just talked about bringing other stuff that affected you in a past relationship into a new relationship. So somebody on their phone, whether it was texting other girls or cheating or whatever happened in the previous relationship. So you think that in your new relationship, if somebody's on the phone, they're doing the same thing as the last person did?
Yeah, it's definitely a trigger for me.
It's a trigger.
Definitely.
It's a trigger.
It's a trigger. Phones are triggers.
Well, this is how you solve that. You talk to them about it. You tell them about it. And if they don't want to, listen, I get it. People don't want to be told. You can't tell me what to do on my phone. I get that. We are these 2020s, have brought in that type of attitude. Yeah, you can't tell me nothing. You can't tell me shit, and that's true. But at the same time, if you want a relationship to work, you also have to have some type of compromise. So talk to the person about it. If I'm with a chick and she always on her phone, I'm gonna say something. Fuck that. Listen.
You will.
If every time you come over Netflix and chill, and you on your phone and your shit keep going on and off, nah. We're gonna fix this, or you gotta go. We're gonna fix this right here. We're about to fix this. Or you can pack your shit and walk out the door. No nonsense. Like, quit playing with people. Like, I'm not playing with these bras out here. I'm not playing. They don't play with me. I ain't playing with them.
These bras.
You understand? So it's like, hey, no.
Can't play with her.
No. I'm gonna ask you, who is that you texting? Who is that you? I'm talking about us being in a relationship. We're in a relationship. Who the fuck is that calling you right now? That you feel the need to text back right away?
Okay.
And all of that.
When I was in that situation. And
here's another gaslight thing. Oh, niggas that check women's phone. This is pure gaslight. Men that check women's phone is insecure. Listen,
yeah,
I don't give a fuck. If I'm sitting up here and your phone is going off, give me your fucking phone. I need to know who is calling you and why do they think calling you right now is the most important thing that they need to do right now. And why aren't you stopping this? You see that it's irritating me. Why are you not putting a stop to this? So obviously it must be something going on that's bigger than me. So yeah, let me see who the fuck you texting. Give me your fucking phone. Yes, give me your fucking phone. Oh, you don't want to give me your phone? Bye-bye. Bye-bye. I don't fall for that shit. It ain't about being insecure. It's about being not made a fool of. I don't give a fuck about insecurity, security, this, that, this, and that, this, and that. If your phone is constantly going off and you run into the bathroom or you, texting, click, 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 clap while we watching a movie and this or eating dinner, who the fuck is that? Unless it's your mama or your family members or your job, who the fuck is that? Who is, all right, let me tell you, I'll make it more simpler. If it ain't your mama or a family member or the job, who is more important? Basically what you're saying is if it's not family and it's not the job, you're telling me that somebody else is more important than your man. Who else left is more important than your man at that point? Once you got family and job out the way, who is more important? Name me the person that's more important. Once you get family out the way and you got the job out the way, name me another person that's more important. So who you telling is more important than me? Who are you telling me that's more important to me?
Okay, so
you get my point? You get my point though? You get my point?
I get your point.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely. I get your point. Who's more important than me in this moment?
Yeah.
Why you're here with me?
Exactly.
Who needs your attention?
Exactly.
No, I mean, I feel the exact same way. Like, that's why it's an issue for me because it's like, other than the past, it's like, okay, I'll just shoot the example to you.
Yeah, give me an example. Yeah, give me an example.
This guy, he's into real estate, so he's always, talking to people, always, making business moves and stuff like that. So the one night, I'm like, hey, you've been in your phone all night. Oh, I'm trying to bid on this house. Me and my business partners are trying. And then he just flat out told me, hey, you can't be insecure just because I'm in my phone because you knew that I was a businessman when we met. So you're going to have to understand that this goes along with the territory. I'm going to be on my phone. So for me, that I understood what he was saying because, yes, he is a businessman. He owns tons of property throughout Cleveland, Ohio. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I understand that. So it was like I kind of had to swallow my insecurity because I understood who he was as a person. But it's still baggage for me. It still makes me uncomfortable. So it's kind of like I kind of lessen my time with him because it's like, I don't know. I've dated a lot of men who were businessmen who also was texting someone else, hey, I can't wait to fuck you later. You know what I mean? While I'm sitting there.
Right.
So, that's why I say I'm taking this baggage to kind of every situation because it just makes me uncomfortable. A phone is a trigger for me. No amount of therapy makes me get over the phone. None.
Listen. I never pick sides. I never defend anyone. So that's kind of that might be like a slightly different situation if he's like you say, he's in the real estate, this and that. I mean, come on now. When you think about it, when you're trying to like sell houses or I don't know exactly what his thing, but I'm just saying like when you're dealing with that type of shit, there is a certain level of like constant being on your phone. There's people are always bidding. They want to ask you questions, this and that. They want to see properties. I get that. But there's also a cutoff too. It shouldn't be through, nobody's trying to look at a fucking house at 11, 12 o'clock at night though. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't care what kind of business you have. There's always a cutoff. Nobody is fucking running business 24 hours a day. And if they are, you're an idiot. You're not handling your business correctly. You're not handling your business correctly. If you got to be on your phone 24 hours a day through through the middle of the night, you don't know how to run a business. Because the reason of having your business is so that you have more downtime to yourself, and not more uptime. That doesn't make sense. So there has to be a certain level of cutoff. So I kind of get what the nigga saying. You know, he did tell you what he did, blah blah blah, and you knew this from the beginning. So you kind of had to understand. But at the same token, there has to be a cutoff. So if a nigga ain't really willing to compromise, but okay, you know what? I'm not going to handle business from, let's say, 9 p.m. Give me till 10 o'clock. And after 10 o'clock, it's all me and you. You know, if a nigga ain't talking like that or willing to compromise like that, then yeah, the nigga up to something else. Like I said, relationship is all about compromise and all of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm assuming it is about compromise.
Yeah. Which goes into how can a woman be more appeasing to a man in today's society? Now, when you say appeasing, what do you mean by appeasing? Explain that to me. I mean, I know what it means.
How can she be more maternal, and how can she have this man into her? How can she have this man all about her?
So what do you think that a woman needs to do? What do you think a woman needs to do to be more appeasing to a man? So basically what you're saying is, what can a woman do to make a man act right? Is that what you're saying? What can a woman do to make a man do what she want him to do?
What can she do to make him want to be committed?
To make him do what you want him to do?
No, to make him committed, to make him want to be in a relationship.
You can't make anybody want to be in a relationship. They either want to be in it in a relationship or they don't. There's really nothing you can do for somebody who halfway in it. If I don't want to be in a relationship, I'm not going to be in a relationship. I don't care what you do. I don't care how you approach it, what you do, how good the head is, how good the booty is. It don't matter. It don't matter. If I don't want to be in a relationship, none of that shit matters. Will I enjoy the ride? Yeah, I'm going to enjoy the shit. I'm going to enjoy them cheeks. Yeah, we gonna do that. But does that bring me any closer to being in a relationship with you? Absolutely not. If I don't want to be in a relationship, no, there's nothing you can do.
Okay.
No. Go ahead. I need you to reiterate. So.
No, that does answer the question. Like, there is nothing that you can do. You can't say, "Oh, I'm going to lose 20 pounds," or "Oh, I'm going to make sure that I make this certain amount of money," or "I'm going to make sure I invest in this business."
No, bullshit. Because if somebody's into you, none of that shit matters.
Yeah.
None of that shit matters.
Not either. Yeah.
Just because you lose 20 pounds, it's not going to change, how I feel about you. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Obviously, if you're looking for ways to like, oh, I got to improve myself. Maybe if I lose 20 pounds, he'll have more sex with me.
Right.
If I lose 20 pounds, maybe he won't be embarrassed to go outside with me.
Like Sheila.
At that point,
like, why did I get married?
Yeah, at that point, that shit's over any fucking way. It doesn't matter what the fuck you do. Once you start getting into that, what if I, once you get into that conversation with yourself, that shit's over. Relationship's done. No amount of cheeks, nothing.
Well, okay.
Back shots, none of that can bring that shit back.
Okay, so you know how you can meet a woman and let's just say, okay, you like her.
Yeah.
So you date her a little bit.
Uh-huh.
But then you meet another woman who you're really liking and who you're really into.
Uh-huh.
And she doesn't have to go through that treatment. She just kind of skips the line. She's like...
Because she might be a little bit more attractive. You know what? She might be a little bit more attractive than the last one. She might have some qualities that the other one didn't have. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's true. I mean, discrimination is real. And when I say discrimination, I'm not talking about discrimination as far as race and stuff. Not like that. Not like racism, but discrimination when it comes to men's tastes. You know what I'm saying? Somebody, you know, it depends on what a man is looking for. If a man just cares about what a woman looks like, he'll date a woman with a badass body but a stank, nasty attitude that does him no good at all. And he'll stay with that instead of the good woman that doesn't necessarily have a good body. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what he's into. That's what, you know, he's superficial like that. You know?
Superficial, there it is. That's what it is.
Yeah, but not everybody's like that, you know. Were there times when I've been superficial? Yeah, I have. When I was younger, you know, yeah, there have been times when I was probably superficial more than I should have been. But now, no, I'm definitely not superficial at all. I'm not. You know what? Like right now, like I did say, looks and stuff like that does not matter as much. It's about how you are as a person. Right now, I don't like. Who gives a fuck? I mean, think about it. When like a man, what they call that, trophy wife, right? So, you know, the rich man, he wants a beautiful woman to show off, right? For everybody else to look at. And yeah, this is what I got. You see what I got? Get your money up. If you want a woman like this, you got to get your money up. You understand what I'm saying? Bragging.
Yeah.
But when you in your 50s, who gives a fuck? Y'all don't even go outside no more. So I really don't give a fuck who's looking at who. You don't care what somebody thinks about, you know, what your woman look like. They ain't gonna see her any fucking way. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Y'all don't even go no fucking where. You don't even go nowhere. As long as you turn me on and you keep me bricked up, hey, as long as I can get bricked up. As long as I can get bricked up, I look at you. You ain't got to be a beauty queen, baby. But if I can look at you and there's something, you know, maybe, hey, you know what? You might not be cute in the face. You know what I'm saying? But you might got you got that fat ass or you got some big breasts. You got something that keeps me bricked up. And that personality, that's fine. That's fine. Or you might be beautiful in the face, but you ain't really got no booty. You ain't, you know, you got a little flat little booty. You know, it go both ways. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got no booty. But you got a pretty face, though. You know, that keeps me bricked up. So, you know, as long as you got something that keeps me bricked up, that keeps me interested, you ain't got to have the whole total package. You understand? That's just how it is.
Okay.
All right.
Very interesting to talk to, Ken.
All right. So that's wrapping up episode 46. You have any last words, any things you would like to say? Leela?
No, thank you for answering my questions.
No problem at all. All right. Hey, you can come back anytime. Anytime you got some questions, anytime you want to talk, hit me up. Let me know. Don't forget you can catch episode 46 of the Really Broke Podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and you can catch all the clips on my TikTok and Instagram. Just type in the Really Broke Podcast. All right, Leela. You have a good night, and I will talk to you later, okay?
All right. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.